Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You check your wallet, it's empty. Your bank account, gone. Every coin, every note, every digital number on every screen has simply vanished. No one can buy food, no one can pay rent, no one can earn a salary. At first, it sounds like the end of civilization, but here's the strange part. For almost all of human history, people lived exactly like this. There were no banks, no cash, no prices. And somehow, humanity survived. So the real question isn't what would happen if money disappeared tomorrow. It's, what if humans had never invented money in the first place? To answer that, we need to travel back long before cities, kings, or even written language. Around 300,000 years ago, humans lived in small groups of hunters and gatherers. Nobody owned land. Nobody owned companies. There were no rich people, and there were certainly no billionaires. Instead, survival depended on something far more valuable than money: trust. Imagine you've just hunted a deer. It's far too much meat for one family to eat before it spoils. So you share it with everyone, not because you're generous, but because next week someone else might catch the animal while you return empty-handed. Your wealth wasn't measured by what you kept. It was measured by what people remembered you had given. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies have found that sharing wasn't considered kindness, it was considered survival. A selfish person didn't become rich, they became isolated, and in the ancient world, isolation often meant death. For thousands of generations, this system worked surprisingly well. Small groups didn't need money. Everyone knew everyone else. If someone cheated, everyone remembered. Reputation became the original currency. But then something changed. About 12,000 years ago, humans began farming. For the first time, people stayed in one place. Villages became towns, towns became cities, and suddenly, people were surrounded by strangers. You couldn't remember every face anymore. You couldn't rely on trust alone. Imagine trying to trade wheat for shoes. The shoemaker might not need wheat today. Maybe he wants fish. Now you must find a fisherman willing to exchange fish for wheat before returning to the shoemaker. Economists call this the double coincidence of wants. Both people must want exactly what the other has. As communities grew larger, this became almost impossible. Trade slowed down. People needed something everyone agreed had value. At first, different civilizations experimented with unusual forms of money: salt, cowrie shells, large stones, tea bricks, even cattle. In fact, the word pecuniary, meaning related to money, comes from the Latin word for cattle. Your wealth literally walked around eating grass, but every form of early money had problems. Animals died, salt dissolved, shells could be collected, heavy stones couldn't be carried. Eventually, many civilizations reached the same conclusion. Metal was different. It lasted, it was difficult to fake, and it could be divided into smaller pieces. Around 2,600 years ago, the first metal coins began appearing. For the first time, a farmer could sell grain to anyone, then use those coins to buy anything from anyone else. Money wasn't just making trade easier, it was connecting complete strangers. A fisherman could now buy bread from a baker he'd never met. Neither needed to trust the other. They only needed to trust a coin. This single invention changed civilization forever. Cities exploded in size. Trade routes stretched across continents. Entire empires rose because money allowed millions of strangers to cooperate. But here's something fascinating. Money itself has almost no value. Take a modern banknote. It's just cotton and ink. A number in your online banking app isn't even physical. It's simply information stored inside computers. The reason money works isn't because it's valuable. It's because billions of people believe everyone else will accept it tomorrow. In other words, money is one of the largest shared beliefs in human history. The historian Yuval Noah Harari argues that money may be humanity's most successful story. Not because it's true in a physical sense, but because almost everyone believes it. Think about it. Gold cannot feed you. Paper cannot keep you warm. A digital balance cannot cure illness. Yet all three can be exchanged for things that can. Their power comes entirely from collective trust. And trust can disappear. History has shown this many times when governments collapse. When inflation spirals out of control, people often abandon official money. Instead, they return to whatever others are willing to accept. Food, fuel, medicine, even cigarettes have acted as money during times of war. The object changes. The idea remains the same. People always search for something that others believe has value. So, what if money had never existed? Humanity would probably still trade. Every business would become smaller. Global supply chains would almost disappear. Imagine building a smartphone. Its parts come from dozens of countries. Without a universal way to measure value, coordinating millions of exchanges becomes almost impossible. Modern hospitals, airplanes, the internet, space exploration all depend on massive economic cooperation between strangers. Without money, that level of cooperation might never have happened. Civilization would likely remain local. Small communities could survive, but giant cities and global economies would struggle to exist. Ironically, money didn't just make people richer, it allowed complete strangers to work together without ever meeting. Yet money also created entirely new problems. Debt, financial crime, corruption, entire wars have been fought over resources measured in money. The same